Thank you, Tanya. Thank you all for coming to BCA's virtual 30th anniversary event. We wouldn't be here without your ongoing participation. When I think of BCA's beginning, I think of Eleanor Pred. We met in 1988, spending a week at a Commonweal Cancer Health Program, both with recurrences. We continued meeting at the Cancer Support Center on Lake Street in San Francisco, connecting with others, asking how and what are we going to do. Eleanor called her friends at ACT UP who said, "Will you learn about breast cancer and we'll teach you about political activism?" In 1990, in her living room, we formed BCA, elected officers, Eleanor Pred, BCA's first president, Susan Clayman, our vice president, Linda Reyes, our secretary, and I was treasurer, determined to get our 501c3 nonprofit status as quickly as possible. We had no money. We were truly grassroots. We were determined to make a difference. As Eleanor said, we must stop treating this disease as a personal tragedy. I still see Eleanor sitting in bed, pillows propped up around her, telephone, appointment book, mail, newspapers strewn over her blue Moroccan bedspread, her cat Patches sitting on or walking over everything. Eleanor was networking, calling activists on the East Coast, followed by morning phone calls to us, and then calls to the California breast cancer groups. She loved doing that, even when not well. Breast cancer and politics was suddenly of great interest to the media, and Eleanor was the perfect spokesperson, charismatic and articulate. We had press people, local and national, at most of our meetings, and things moved quickly. In May 1991, several of the California breast cancer groups came together for the first Mother's Day March to the Sacramento Capitol steps, with more than 500 people attending, demanding state funding for breast cancer prevention. In Washington, a congresswoman from Ohio was pushing her breast cancer bill, asking for $25 million for research. Her sister had breast cancer. Another congresswoman pointed out that Congress, mostly men, funded only what they feared, and they didn't fear breast cancer, and they didn't fear us. So we went to them, to Washington, D.C. Women from California, Massachusetts, Arizona, and Virginia to meet with Congress and the NIH, and Eleanor, Susan, and I were there. In October 1991, breast cancer groups across the country came together to do the right thing. That's W-R-I-T-E thing. BCA was there, and we delivered 600,000 letters to President Clinton and Congress urging increased funding for breast cancer research. We won. Congress ordered the NIH to boost 1992 spending for breast cancer research by 48%. Eleanor, she died in 1991. At her memorial service on the Hornblower, I remember thinking, she's here. Eleanor is here, saying, I wouldn't miss this for anything. All this chocolate and wine and wonderful friends. And she'd say, I'm proud of all of you and what you've accomplished, but we must continue. We must remain in their faces until we are victorious. That was Eleanor Pred. I also want to say thank you to and acknowledge the works of our past executive directors who did such amazing things. Barbara Brenner was our first executive director. She had written a letter published in the San Francisco Chronicle about her own breast cancer. It was read by a member of BCA's board who contacted her, told her about BCA, invited her to a board meeting. Barbara came, and the rest is 15 years of BCA's history. Her accomplishments included, in 1994, BCA scored a first at the American Association for the Advancement of Science meeting in San Francisco when Barbara organized a seminar on breast cancer, the environmental connection. It was the most widely attended seminar at the meeting. She also developed BCA's policy not to accept monies from any company or organization who contributed to the causes of breast cancer or benefited from the treatment of breast cancer. And under Barbara, BCA's activism took a new turn when we joined the grassroots movement, looking into the link between women's health and our environment. And our last executive director, Karuna Jagger. Her accomplishments were many, including the 2013 Supreme Court win against Myriad Genetics on patenting breast cancer genes. We, BCA, the only breast cancer organization participating. And to all of the BCA members and supporters, you enable us to stay in their faces. Thank you all very much.